Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Department of Instruction teleconference. Today, we're going to experience deep peace. I invite you to take a deep breath, and as you exhale, consider your inner state. How are you doing today? What is your inner state? What is the state of your being? Now, it's possible you're already experiencing deep peace, and I am thrilled for you if that's the case. And there may be some opportunities to experience more peace. Maybe there are some disturbances. Again, together, we're going to explore and experience deep peace. So again, take a deep breath. And during your exhalation, be aware of what wants attention in your body. Is there any part of your body that wants attention? Now, take another deep breath, and this time, just gently place your awareness on that part of your body that wants attention. Give that place in your body a chance to express what it wants you to know. It could be a pain or a tickle. We've spoken before about the connective tissue in our body called fascia. And this holds everything in place inside our body. It's around our organs and muscles and in between places. Fascia has between 6 and 8 times as many nerve endings as our muscles. So it really gives a sense of how we're doing. Fascia helps us know if we're okay. It helps us to feel the inner state of our body. And when we sit for a long time, the fascia can become stiff. If we're always looking in the same direction, like at a computer screen, if we're not moving throughout our body, fascia can become stiff and stuck. So now we're going to move to music for 2 minutes just to loosen up the fascia. If you're able to stand, I encourage you to stand. And anytime we do movement to music, or really anything we do here, if anything makes you uncomfortable or causes any pain at all, stop doing it. And what we're doing now with the simple movements that we'll do is we're going to do non-habitual movements. So if we are stuck because we haven't moved around, we can do movements that aren't the typical movements. So we're going to practice some of those now. I'm going to share my music here. Okay. Gently lift your left ear up to the ceiling or sky. Back to center. Right ear up. Back to center. Now gently move your shoulders in a forward circle. backwards. And now take your right shoulder up, back to center. Left shoulder up, back to center. Now lift both shoulders and just jiggle them a little. Probably a non-habitual movement. Back to center. Now put your hands on your hips and make a wide circle with your hips. Go the other direction. And back to center. Just give everything a nice little jiggle. Okay. Take another deep breath. And exhale completely. Another deep breath. And exhale completely. One more time. Deep breath. And exhale completely. Feeling your entire body relaxing. Now, that place in your body that wanted your attention before, just place your hands on that part of your body. Give it some attention. Take a deep breath and a deep exhalation. Now we're going to move on to our emotions. Is there anything that's disturbing your emotional deep peace? What does it want you to know? What emotion are you experiencing? And maybe you're not experiencing right now, but if you are, is there any emotion that's disturbing your deep peace? And what does that emotion want you to know? We've practiced exercises before with our emotions, and you'll know that I don't suggest that we suppress our emotions. And that is for a very practical reason. It's typically not successful. In fact, it's more often counterproductive. If we try to silence emotions that are trying to get our attention, they could come out in ways that are not helpful to us. So let's say you're experiencing fear or worry or whatever degree, maybe a little anxiety. Give that emotion your attention so that it can deliver its message. That emotion thinks it's helping you. So you may find it helpful to close your eyes and just listen to that emotion. Do you have the opportunity to support that emotion, either with telling yourself, okay, I'm worried about this, so to get this off my mind so I can stop worrying about it, I'll go research the subject. Or maybe you've had a disagreement with someone and that's the emotion that's coming up. So there's something you can do. If it's appropriate, you can resolve the issue with the other person. So think about, is there something that you can do to help relieve this emotion that is disturbing your deep peace? There are many versions of what's called the Serenity prayer. And some of you may be familiar with the 12-step program and the version that's used in that program. God, or the divine, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. So if there's an emotion that is disturbing your deep peace, is there something practical that you can do? You can take steps to, again, let's say if you're anxious about something, you can research it or resolve it. Or if it's something that you cannot change, how can you learn how to accept it? An example that may come to mind for any of us would be the death of a loved one, someone close to us going through transition. How can we accept that? And if you give this thought, you can come up with a way that you can accept it. The Rosicrucian funeral ceremony is so beautiful and inspiring, and it reminds us that transition is a natural part of the eternal process of life. And all of us are going to die. Again, it can be so painful for us when we lose a loved one, when they're in the spiritual realm and we miss them. And this disturbs our deep peace. So, of course, mourning is very natural. Grieving is natural. And we need to decide when it's time to stop grieving. So there are times when we can do things to resolve an emotion that is causing us, that is disturbing our deep peace. And there are other times where we can't change something. For example, we can't change the fact that a loved one has passed on. So we work to find a way to accept it. And maybe it would motivate us to direct our energy towards something that would honor them or help other people who may be grieving. Another emotion that may disturb our inner peace is uneasiness about an election in your area or in your country. And there is a way to relieve that uneasiness. It's a very simple, foolproof way to relieve our uneasiness, and that is to get involved. we can research candidates who support our ideals, who support what's important to us, and then we can become involved in their campaign. We can do the same thing, not just for individuals, but for different items that may be on the ballot. So we can find candidates that support issues that are important to us. For example, protecting the environment, and then we support them. We may knock on doors, we may send postcards, we may go to rallies. We could send money to those candidates or to support those issues. If there is this uneasiness about what's going to happen, we can take some steps. We're not going to solve all the world's issues, and we can support people who are in places of power to make decisions that reflect our ideals. And the most important thing that we can do is to educate ourselves and then to vote. So if you're feeling uneasiness about an election in your area, wherever you are, you can become involved, and I can guarantee you it will help to relieve the uneasiness. And this uneasiness is disturbing your peace. The same with ongoing issues for the environment, even if it's not connected with an election. Get involved. Write letters to your representatives. Take practical steps that can make your voice heard. There is a technique presented in the Rosicrucian lessons when we have an emotion that's not serving us and we want to release ourselves from it. So again, the first thing is just to know what it is, because we may be going around feeling like something's not right, but not realizing, oh, it's uneasiness over this issue, or it's an unresolved conflict with that person. So our first step is to recognize what it is, and then to let that emotion speak to us. So I mentioned fear earlier. Fear is telling us that it senses a threat, so pay attention. So if you listen to your emotion, maybe you don't have to have full-blown fear. Maybe you can just be more alert, or again, research a subject so that the part of you that's saying, we have a threat here, or we have a possible threat, if you address it, then it can quiet its voice. As I mentioned earlier, though, if you try just to suppress it, it could come out in really weird, more loud ways. We've all experienced it. So it could start really trying to get your attention. And sometimes the emotions that we feel, they're triggered, and then we are kind of on autopilot, reacting like we did to a threat when we were a child, even if we're an adult now. So we can say to ourselves, okay, if this happened in the past when I was a child, that would have been a lot bigger threat to me. So maybe fear or anger or something else would have been appropriate as a child, but I'm an adult and I'm able to protect myself better now. So we can speak to these emotions. And the first thing we need to do is to be aware that they're trying to get our attention. And once we have listened to them, once they've had a chance to express themselves, there is a Rosicrucian technique where we see a double of ourselves. So we are looking as though we're up above and looking down at ourselves. And it's helpful to do this by a window or to do it outside. And we see ourselves with that emotion that's no longer serving us, and we take a deep breath and we exhale it, releasing it from our being. Emotions are very closely related to our bodies. So emotions often manifest in our bodies, speak to us through our body. So we can do this now. So think of something, an emotion that you know is not serving you well. You close your eyes and see yourself from above. You're looking at yourself where you're seated or standing. Let's say, it's anger. You can see that anger or fear or jealousy or worry, whatever it is. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Release that emotion. Again, your perspective is you're up above and you're looking down and releasing that emotion. Do this one more time. We're going to do it 3 times altogether. So inhale. And as you exhale, you are expelling that emotion that has expressed itself out from your vibrational frequency. And do this a 3rd time. Take a deep breath and see a double of yourself. And as you exhale, you release what is no longer serving you. When you're ready, open your eyes. Now we're going to experience deep peace on the mental level. And by this, I'm referring to mind chatter. Now, for some people, deep mental peace is stillness. And for other people, deep peace is being completely engaged in something. And that's a good feeling when we're completely engaged in something. So you can choose either way to do this. But for our exercise, we're going to focus on our breath in order to experience deep mental peace. When we practice Rosicrucian meditations, we often say, take 3 deep breaths, becoming more relaxed with each exhalation. We are signaling our entire being that we're changing our intention with each breath. So the breath helps us to relax our muscles, because as we breathe in, it relaxes the diaphragm and all the muscles related to breathing. It also brings our attention to, we're doing something different now. Let's say we were really busy. We take the 3 deep breaths. We're like, okay, this is preparing me for stillness. I've mentioned before that there is a technique, and some consider it a meditation hack or a health hack, a body hack. It's called the physiological sigh. And to do this, we take a deep breath. So do that now. Take a really full breath through your nose. And you think you've completely filled your lungs, but do it even more. And then exhale through your mouth, a long exhalation. That's the physiological side. And there are reasons that it's a technique to instantly relax us. First of all, that extra breath in relaxes the large diaphragm muscle right under our ribs. We hold a lot of tension there. It's related to our breathing. Also, our lungs are made up of air sacs. And when we don't breathe fully, we get carbon dioxide in our system. So when we do that extra breath in, it pops those little air sacs so that they can be refilled with fresh oxygen. And then that long exhalation expels the carbon dioxide. So this is, there's a lot of scientific research on how this can just reset our system. When we get that carbon dioxide in our system, it makes us feel anxious and can make us feel jittery. That's part of why we feel jittery. When we're in a tense situation, often we forget to breathe deeply. And I'm sure all of us have experienced something happens, and then afterwards we go, whew. So this is a natural response. And we can do this hack to instantly get our entire system to relax. Another way that we can contribute to our mental peace is while we're meditating, if thoughts come into our mind, which they will, we don't fight them. We focus on our breath, and if our thoughts start going off in some direction, no problem. We just gently bring our awareness back to our breath. And if the thoughts are really persistent, we can mentally say to ourselves, thinking. So all we have to do is mentally say thinking. And then it's like, oh, right, okay, I'm meditating now, but I'm thinking. So it's acknowledging the thought and gently bringing our awareness back to the breath, which leads to stillness. So these are some techniques that we can use to help still our minds. And we're going to do this now. So please sit in a way that's comfortable for you. And it's helpful to have your back straight so the energy can very smoothly travel up and down your spine. It also keeps you from squishing the diaphragm and those important organs that are right under your ribs. We have psychic centers right under our ribs. On the right, it's the liver. And then if you go toward the center, that's our stomach. And behind our stomach is the pancreas, another psychic center. Keep going to the left and up, it's the spleen. So if we sit comfortably with our back straight, but not rigid, it helps to release those areas as well as the diaphragm and keep a smooth route for the energy to go up and down our spine. So we sit comfortably, and we're going to do this now. Have you with your eyes closed, focus your attention on your breath. Feel the air go in and out of your nostrils. If your mind wanders, no problem. Just focus again on the air going in and out of your nostrils. If your thoughts are persistent, just think to yourself, thinking. And then what do? We bring our attention back to the air going in and out of our nostrils. And we'll do this for about 3 minutes. You don't need to keep track of the time. I'll do that for you. Okay, when you're ready, open your eyes. Now we're going to experience deep peace at the level of the Celestial Sanctum. And here's what we're going to do. We will intone the vowel sound Om, and then we will ascend to the Celestial Sanctum, and then we will breathe in the peace there. When we intone vowel sounds, this stimulates the vagus nerves in our throat. So the vagus nerve goes from our brain down to our gut, and it controls digestion and heart rate and breathing. Our autonomic nervous system is always looking for threats so that it can prepare for them. We evolved, many of the things we've discussed today talked about threats. The beings who passed on their genes protected themselves from threats. So whether it's our body or our emotions or our mind, we evolved to watch for threats. And the autonomic nervous system is always watching, is there a threat nearby? Do I need to increase my respiration or my heart rate? Do my pupils need to dilate? So there are techniques that help to tell the autonomic nervous system that everything's okay, that you don't need to prepare for a threat, that there are no threats in the area. So intoning vowel sounds, even humming will do this, and singing, definitely. One of the reasons that singing feels so good, it helps to tone the vagus nerves that go down the side of our throat, that again are an important part of our nervous system. So it helps to calm us. And intoning the vowel sound Om is especially helpful. Om stimulates the pineal gland that is in the back of our head. Right back here, we typically say, oh, it's like between our eyebrows, but it's in the back of our head. So it's at that level, but in the back of our head. And what makes the pineal center the most important is the fundamental role it plays in cosmic attunement. So when we want to attune with the spiritual realm, the vowel sound Om, chanting that vowel sound and toning it, is very helpful. Monograph states, under its impulse, we can place ourselves in attunement with the spiritual world, also called the quantum or unified field, and receive inspiration from it, especially during meditation. So now we're going to intone the vowel sound Om. We're going to attune with the Celestial Sanctum. And we've done this before, where in a moment we're going to place our attention above where we're seated, above the building we're in, going higher and higher. And then we're going to see a place in the distance that just fills our heart with joy. And this represents the spiritual realm, the highest level of consciousness with which we can attune. So that's abstract. How do you visualize the highest plane of consciousness with which you can attune? So we choose an image that just feels so good to see us going toward and eventually stepping into. And this could be a place you've really experienced somewhere in the world. It could be a beautiful place in a forest or along a body of water, on a mountain, could be a Rosicrucian temple, could be another type of building. So have in mind now what the symbol is for your celestial sanctum, because that's where we're going to ascend to. So please close your eyes. And again, focus your attention on your breath as it goes in and out of your nostrils. Now we're going to intone the vowel sound Om 3 times. Ready? Inhale. Om. Now place your awareness just above the place where you are seated. Begin your ascent by having your awareness go above the building you may be in, above your city, your state or province, your country, going higher and higher until you turn and look at Earth and see it as a spinning sphere. Now continue your ascent, going higher and higher and higher until you see in the distance the celestial sanctum as you have chosen to visualize it. And you come to the entrance of that spiritual place that's beyond time and space. And you pause for a moment and you prepare yourself to enter in purity and dignity. And now you step into your celestial sanctum. You're moving through this place, experiencing the inspiring sights. You hear beautiful sounds. Be aware of the fragrances that you smell. Feel the energy of this place, of your celestial sanctum. Now, at this high level of spirituality, this frequency, this vibrational level, turn over anything that is not contributing to your deep peace. If it's helpful, you could imagine that there is a beautiful, loving grandfather there, and you hand this to that wise elder, or beautiful, loving grandmother, and you just hand over what it is that's disturbing your deep peace. And you know that it is taken care of. And now for a couple of minutes, just breathe in the deep peace here. Just experience it. In a moment, we will leave the Celestial Sanctum. Before we do that, though, from this high plane of spirituality, view our beautiful planet and send thoughts of deep peace to Earth and all beings. Now, when you're ready, begin the journey back towards Earth, towards your country, your city, the building you may be in. Bring your awareness firmly back to where you're seated. And we're going to create an anchor so that you can re-experience this feeling that you're feeling now, this deep peace, more easily. So hold out your non-dominant hand. I'm right-handed, so I'm holding out my left hand. Hold out your non-dominant hand, and with your dominant hand, just gently stroke that web of skin between your thumb and your index finger. Just gently stroke that and feel your inner state right now. Later, you'll be able to re-experience this state to some degree by just stroking that area on your hand again. It's an anchor, and it'll just take you back to how you're feeling right now. This deep peace. And pause for a moment and give thanks for the opportunity to attune with the Celestial Sanctum. So mote it be. Thank you all so much for participating today. You know, we often end our communications with the saying, with my best wishes for peace profound. This is what I wish for you, fratres and sorors and dear friends. Deep peace. So mote it be.